Good morning and a happy new year to you all. So thank you for joining me this morning. If you're joining me live, it's Monday the 3rd of January and it's Jenny McCormack here from Jemini Crafts, and I live in Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you for joining me, and a warm and happy new year to you and all of your families. It's quite bright for a change today. We've had a few days of just sort of dullness and drizzle, but it looks nice this morning. There's a bit of blue sky, so fingers crossed that stays with us today. So thank you for joining me this morning. And as I say, a happy new year to you. I'm going to be using this stamp set here, Amazing Silhouettes, for our crafting. But before I do that, I just want to remind you that it's the last day, 3rd of January, that you can order from this mini catalogue. A few of the stamp sets and products are carrying over. A lot of them are retiring. Hi Kerry, happy new year to you and good evening to you. But a lot of the items are going. Now quite a few of them have already sold out, so the best thing to do is to go online and click on my shop sales and specials, and then click on the last chance products, and that will tell you what products that are left that are retiring. Okay, I will pop a link on here. Always sad to see some things go, but I can tell you that the new catalogue, which starts tomorrow, is as equally inspiring, and some new products in there that we'll have some great fun with, and this being one of them, Amazing Silhouettes. So this is in the catalogue. It's £21 and it features these 3 images, and it's, as it says, it's a silhouette image, but instead of being dark on light, it's the reverse. So the stamp detail is in this bit here, and then the white element is clear, if that makes any sense. So I did have an idea last week on something to do with this, so I'm going to try that out today. So a bit of an experiment. Let me just show you some of these quickly. So we are using this at Coffee and Card this afternoon over in Toaster, and we'll be making ones like this. So this is stamped onto white card, and I've used the butterfly one, and you can see here I've actually used So Saffron and Misty Moonlight. So there's 2, and then there's 2 larger versions. There's this one here, and I've used the very edge of the butterfly stamp to create this border. So you could use that on any card if you wanted a border around the edge. And then this one here with the butterflies. I haven't done anything much with the foliage one. I'll need to put that right. So the idea that I had in mind, which I think I mentioned when I was crafting last week, is to ink this up with 3 different colours, and I'm thinking of going bold colours for this. So I've picked out pumpkin pie, I've got crushed curry and evening evergreen to start with, and my plan is to ink it up in 3 colours, and what I'm going to do is ink up the top and the bottom, and then use a sponge dauber to ink up the little bit in the middle so that I'm not contaminating the ink pads. At least that's the theory. You could use sponge daubers, transfer the ink onto each separate section if you wanted to. That would also work. but I thought let's just give this a go. So I've got some white card that I pre-cut to fit our A4 card, cut in half and folded. So this measures 9.5 centimeters by 13.85, and I haven't decided on the backing yet. I'll probably put it onto a white card, just see how it turns out and which colour grabs me as to which colour backing I'm going to use. Morning Catherine, and a Happy New Year to you. So I'm not sure what order to do these in, whether to have it like that or like that. Maybe I'll try that combination. So pumpkin pie at the top, crushed curry at the top, pumpkin pie, and then I've got evening evergreen. We'll see how that goes. So my plan is to just sort of work it roughly into thirds, and let's see how we get on. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up at the top. What I want to do is actually see how inky this is. Yes, not that one. That's not very inky at all. Let me grab I have got a new crushed curry somewhere. Let's try Bumblebee. Because I want it to be quite strong colours, because my other ones are quite muted, so that's better. Okay, and while I'm here, let's try evening evergreen at the bottom. That definitely looks good. Okay. And let's have a look at pumpkin pie in the middle. Now this one should be fine because it's actually quite a new ink pad. Let's find a dauber that's hasn't got any colour on. Perfect. So I just want to see what this is like if I just transfer this into the middle section. So top, middle, bottom. Yeah, I reckon that will work. I've also got another idea which I'm pretty sure I've seen somebody do, so I'm sure this isn't the original idea either what I'm doing, and that is to do a colour and then a darker colour either in the middle or around the outside. Might try it with a darker colour in the middle. Okay, so let's give this a go. So I'm going to use Bumblebee at the top. So I'm just doing approximately a third. So this is one of our in colours. So you're just going to use that edge. And then my evening evergreen at this bottom section. Now these are distinctive stamps, so it does a lot of sort of self-colouring for you. Oh, let's leave that open ready. And then this is my sponge dauber. And I'm going to pick this up and put it in the middle. So what I don't want to do is to contaminate the ink pads. I'm not so much worried about it obviously on the stamp, which is why I've chosen to use Adorable. You could stamp that bit, ink that bit, cover that over, ink the next bit, but I decided that was it was not going to be quite as subtle, changing colours from one to the other. So hopefully I've got enough on there. Let's give it a go. So I'm just going to huff on the stamp, because obviously that other ink now has been there a little while, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go central or to the side. Go to the side. There we go. So I hope everybody is able to enjoy our carryover bank holiday here in the UK from New Year's Day on Saturday. Okay, that has worked. There we go. So what I wanted, it was not too strong a line changing from one colour to the next. Let me just lift that up for you. Go. So I think you could have some quite fun with the quite good fun with these in different colour combinations. You could go for some quite bright colours, but also I think you could have a nice sunset effect. So it looks like the sunset behind the trees. So I could recreate that. Now I'm just going to use, actually I could use this edge as well. So I use the edge of the butterfly, but this edge would work, I think, around the edge. So let's try that. I'm going to clear this off. And I use that little bit there. I reckon I could go around the edge, so I'm going to use this, I think, which is the bumblebee, because my crushed curry was a bit light. I could use the same colours, I suppose, and mimic that all the way around, but let's just see how this looks. So I'm just bringing this in along the edge like that. I'm inking up the whole of that bottom bit of the stamp. Like so. Sure I don't go off the edge of the paper. Like that. And if you've got any little gaps, you can just bring in that little edge. Like so. So I think I'm going to do that all the way around. Go. So when you're using your stamps, do look for other opportunities, like this edge here, that you could use, like so. It's almost like what's the word, like a vintage feel if you did that in espresso or something. So I'm going to add my sentiment down here, but I love that effect. We did have a fabulous set of stamps that had that edge, and I used it a lot, desperately trying to think what the name of it was, but I can't. But that is a good alternative, and I'm sure there's plenty of other stamps, edges of flowers and things like that that you could use. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Phew, bless me. Right. Okay. So I'm going to finish this off with a sentiment, and then I'm going to do the same thing but with some bright colours. Could do it with, I'm not sure it would work with the butterfly because there's not enough of an area. You could do it going across that way. Could try that. Okay, so let's pop a sentiment onto here, and I quite like this hello from Garden Bird Houses from the annual stamp set. Oh, that's welcome. And then you could use that for, you know, hello for the new year or something like that. Let me grab a smaller block. Right, I'm going to turn that over. And I'm not sure if this evergreen will be dark enough. This feels, I feel it needs to be a different colour. I don't know what you think. Yes, I need it to stand out against that. So I've gone for pumpkin pie. My phone has just kicked me off the live, so I hope you're still here with us. It says we're still live. So Catherine, oh thank you Kerry. So Catherine says she's not looked at anything like the edge, but always think how much you can use it. Yeah, can I use it other ways for other occasions? Absolutely. And the sort of rule of thumb is, you know, you want to be able to find between, I don't know, 3 or 5 ways to use a stamp set to get the most out of it. Obviously some stamp sets are very specific, but you could, you know, change the, oh thanks Gary, change the colours and orientation from landscape to portrait makes quite a difference as well. And obviously mixing stamp sets together is key. Okay, so let's just I'm thinking I was going to do pumpkin pie, but I've got this pumpkin pie around the edge, haven't I? So I need something to sort of stand against it really. Or I could use evening evergreen actually. So that's one. Let's have a look at evergreen. See which looks better. So there's one option with espresso behind. Very autumnal, isn't it? And then that's the evening evergreen, which I think looks better because it ties this in. That would look nice with espresso as the bottom as well, wouldn't it? Okay, so let's cut a piece of that up. There we go. So what I usually do with my A4 card is always cut it to A5 and then cut that piece down. So this is going to be 10. By 14.35. And the reason why I cut this down first and not just cut off the smaller piece is that then I know that is ready. If I find a piece like that, I know it's ready for a card base. It's not extra long where I cut a piece off. That's just my longer term time saving. Okay, so that's going to be my layers there. There we go. So I'll just fold this over. A bone folder. So I'm looking forward to coffee and card this afternoon, and we have a new location temporarily for coffee and card on Fridays whilst the lovely ladies at Hummingbirds are on their annual leave. So we're meeting at a cafe called, appropriately, Jenny's. And they were very accommodating to us last week, so we're there every Friday 3 till 4, and then our coffee and card is at Toaster every, oh, it's just about to run out, Monday. Just switch that over. 2:30 to 3:30. So a little bit far for Kerry to come. Right. So a scribble of wet glue. Put that onto the evergreen. Like so. Actually, the other, absolutely, Kerry, you'd be most welcome. Maybe one day. Welcome would work quite nicely if you wanted it as a New Year's card, wouldn't it, too? Okay, so that's our first one. And I'm thinking I want to do some bright colours or a sunset. What do you think? Let me know. Oh, I'm just joined by Cassie dog. So either some bright pinks and purples or a sunset sort of look. So that would be orange, yellow, sort of pink Flirty Flamingo. Give us some ideas of colours. I'll get this ready. Turn that one over. Let's clean this one off. Sunset idea. So what do we reckon for sunsets? Such a long time since I've seen a decent sunset. Let's have a look. So Bumblebee's too is not the right sort of colour. So I've got Flirty Flamingo, Blues, Purples, Night Sky. So let's have a look. It's a bit light, isn't it? Right, I've got Flirty Flamingo, polished pink, so saffron, daffodil's a bit brighter, isn't it? And then let's add a bit of purple into that, shall we? What do we think? So I've got daffodil, Flirty Flamingo, polished pink and gorgeous grape. Add a bit or put this at the bottom. Difficult, isn't it? So that needs to be at the top. There we go. Should we try that? I know there's 5, but should we give that a go? So I'm going to use I think what I'm going to use is sponge daubers for these, so I can build it up slowly. No, definitely not as easy as you would think. I need to look at some more sunsets, don't I? Okay, let's give that a go and see. Actually, what I'm going to do is just, let's find, that's a little pinky colour, it's a blue, away with that's purple. So let's just see. So I'm going to start with this one. Let's have a little play. So then I've got Flirty Flamingo. Polished pink, and then I've got gorgeous grape. It might just look like a mess. Mind it. That one. Yeah. And then let's try a bit of Misty Moonlight at the top. Now it's going to come out lighter because they're distinctive stamps to start with, and obviously the ink is being transferred from the ink pad to the sponge to the stamp. So okay, let's see. I'm not sure if I've done enough in the middle, but let's pop it on here anyway, just in case it's worked first time. So I'm just going to huff on that, put this one in the middle, see what we have. Okay, so I had a feeling I hadn't done enough in the middle, but that does sort of work, doesn't it? Let me just bring that up there. So let's clean that off. We have another look at that. So it's, yeah, it has definitely worked in that set of colours, hasn't it? So I need to make sure I've got enough around that middle. Perfect. Okay, so we might as well work from the top down, mightn't we? This time round. So this is Misty Moonlight. Then I had Gorgeous Grape. Okay. Polished pink. You wouldn't want to be doing a lot of these, would you? You wouldn't want to do these as wedding invitations, let's put it that way. Or mass mailing. Okay, polished pink. And then I've got Flirty Flamingo. That's the one. Let's see if this one. Just want to take some of this ink out. Gosh, it's amazing how much ink is in there, isn't there? Okay. So this is Flirty Flamingo. Hope that's in your line of sight, everybody. So making sure I'm doing that middle bit. Keep thinking there's little hairs in there, but it's just the definition of these tiny little pieces. And then Daffodil Delight at the bottom. So I am just going to do that. And then just pick up a little bit in that corner to blend it. I've gone all hoarse. I'm not used to talking at this time of day. There we go. Okay, let's give it a go. See whether this works better. So just hovering on that to make sure it's nice and moist. There we go. I'm just going to bring this one down to the bottom. And just off the edge, but hopefully still straight. There we go. Yep, that definitely worked, didn't it? So the question is, am I going to use the same colours around the edge, or I could put something completely different around the edge. Or just use some blending brushes maybe. That might work because I've got some purples and blue. Take my glasses off. See what I'm doing. So I'll turn this over. So I've got a little bit of blue here. Not much on there at all. So let's watch out for those inky pieces there. Don't want to transfer any of those across. There's my blue. And then got a little bit of purple on here. Might need to add a little bit more. Thank you, Kerry. And then sort of got some pink in here, which I think there might be enough of. There we go. So it's just sort of almost reflecting it a little bit, and then yellow at the bottom. So I'll lift that up, hopefully you can see that. I don't think it, well, it definitely doesn't show as well on my camera as in real life. But then it is going through this camera and then back out onto the screen, so I'm just going to add this in a little bit more. Now I've got that effect. So there we are. There we go. I'll lift it up for you to see. Hopefully you'll be able to see a bit more of that colouring. If I just tilt it, maybe. It's quite subtle. I can see it quite clearly in daylight, but I don't think it transfers as quite as well onto the screen for you to see. So there's a little bit of purple. I might add a little bit more flamingo for the pink. So that did work all right, didn't it? So the question is, what backing I now put on there? Oh, you can see some colour. Oh, good. Maybe if I just darken that up a little bit, you'll see it better. And yellow at the bottom. So, any brilliant ideas on what to put it on? I mean, rainbow glimmer paper would look fab if it was the right set of colours. I'll have a look and see if there's anything that would work for that. Hopefully you might see a bit better now I've darkened it up a little bit. Oh, good. Good. Glad you can see it, ladies. There we go. Actually. I'm liking it actually the more colour I add in. There we go. Okay. Yes, flamingo would work, wouldn't it? With the backing. Blue would also work, or purple. Okay. Move that onto there. Get a better look at it then. So, let's have a look. Whether it fits. So that's with the rainbow glimmer behind. Combination. Oh, let me move it up, otherwise you can't see it, can you? Like that. Just grabbing the blue and the Flirty Flamingo. Go. Blue definitely works. I don't like that as much because there's this purple in here. So the blue, the rainbow, and oops. A bit of, no, that feels too light, so I'm thinking possibly the blue or the rainbow, but I think yes, the blue would work well because you don't see enough of the rainbow. Have a look. So, yes. Okay, so let's trim this one down. So this is 14. Oh, just did what I said I'm not going to do. Cut that in half first, and then cut this to 14.35, and then 10. Go. And not sure what sentiment I'm going to put on here. This is nearly run out as well. Let's try another one. That's what happens when you haven't been crafting for a few days. out. So a scribble of glue, not too near the edge, and not too much of it. So blue was a good choice, girls. So any suggestions for a sentiment? Make a nice retirement card, wouldn't it? I've got birthday wishes. Probably needs something to go across the top, doesn't it? So I have this sending love. So heartfelt wishes is retiring. I don't know if it's still available or not. Sending love. I feel it needs something small at the bottom like I've got here. Either that or nothing at all. So maybe I will just leave it. It makes a nice thinking of you card, doesn't it? Or a sympathy card, of course. Just quite sort of subtle. So I think I'm going to leave that as is. So hopefully you can see the finished effect now. You can see a bit more of that colour. As I say, it's definitely, it might be that I've got my screen not so bright. So you can definitely see that extra bit of colour on there that I've added. So yeah, I'm happy with that. It's worked out well. So these were our two designs for today. And there's one more thing that I haven't tried yet, and that is some heat embossing using the design. And I'm thinking what might be nice would be white on Night of Navy, so that the tree is navy and then you have this white outline. So I think when we come back tomorrow, Tuesday, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some heat embossing with the sets. I think the butterfly would look nice as well. So that's our plan, to come back and finish those. So I'll catch up with some of you at Coffee and Card this afternoon. Look forward to seeing you there. And I will be back tomorrow. So of course the new catalogue goes live as from tomorrow, well, effectively midnight tonight. So I am in the process of sending out more catalogues. If you haven't received one from me by the end of the week, then by all means shout. And if you want to make sure that you're on my list, because it may be that I've already sent it, then just pop me a message or comment, and I can verify that either I've sent one to you, or I can make sure you're added to the list. So thank you so much. This is Amazing Silhouettes from, whoops, there we go, from the new catalogue, and I'll be able to show you that in more detail tomorrow. So what I might try and do is a catalogue walkthrough. I'm also offering paper shares for all of the papers from the new catalogue, so watch out for details of that too. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I know it is technically, for us here anyway, a bank holiday, but I couldn't resist the opportunity to craft with you again today. And so I will be back again tomorrow evening, Tuesday at 7 p.m. and I'm not sure whether I will do an additional live to show you through the catalogue. I might do that separate, otherwise it makes it quite a long session. So join us back here tomorrow at 7 for some more crafting, and then maybe during the day I'll pop on with a live. I'll give you notice and we'll do a catalogue walkthrough. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all a very happy new year to you and your families. Please do stay safe and look after each other. Look after your loved ones. And I hope you're able to keep crafting. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye for now.